Hi, Phyllis Minter, and celebrating Women History Month, we're presenting Women in Construction.
Thank you, Artie. Get a chance to introduce one of my favorite people. Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed guests, champions of progress, it is with great honor that I introduce our moderator for today's dynamic panel discussion, Women Leading in Construction. A trailblazer in her own right, leading this esteemed panel is Ms. Phyllis Minter. Residential and commercial broker, renowned for her dedication to building relationships and seizing opportunities. With 18 years of experience, she ranked among the top 20 producers at the South Fulton Keller Williams office. Ms. Minter played a vital role in acquiring the property development for the City of South Fulton Economic Development Office, located right here at Old National District. Phyllis serves as the chair of the Old National District Board, vice president of the Old National Merchants Association, board member of the Old National Residents Association United, and board member of the South Fulton Development Authority. Beyond her work with the City of South Fulton, Ms. Minter served as one of the land acquisition for the 6 West development, a 300-acre development within the city of College Park. So without further ado, let's embark on this journey of discovery, dialogue, empowerment, as we explore the vital role of women in construction.
Thank you. All righty. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
You know, as I look around this room and I see so many beautiful faces and handsome faces right here on Old National in this beautiful facility, I just want to give Dr. McCord and Karina a round of applause. Thank you so much for allowing us to be here. What we want to do this evening, I just kind of want to give you an idea of how we're going to kind of run things this evening. Let me put my glasses on here so I can see. All right. Each panelist will have up to 2 minutes to respond to questions posed by the host. After the host's questions have concluded, those guests in the audience, you also will have an opportunity to ask some questions. As guests within the audience ask your questions, please be on the panel should answers be questioned. That didn't make sense. That doesn't make sense. Okay, all right, so at this point, I would like for us to start introducing ourselves here, and each panelist will get 2 minutes to just kind of give everybody an idea of who you are, what you do, and we'll just kind of start here and come on this way.
Good evening, everybody. I didn't realize I was going first. I am Shakira Johnson. Currently, I am the city engineer for the city of South Fulton. Part of that job, I approve all the land development permits. I make sure projects are being built to code. I'm out in the field with the guys at times, making sure developers are doing what they are supposed to be doing. My background, I have a bachelor's in civil engineering from Georgia Tech. I'm a registered professional engineer in 3 states. I have about 20 years of experience. I was on the private sector until last year when I started as a consultant with the city of South Fulton and they stole me in as a full-time employee. And I have been enjoying this side of things. outside of engineering, I've also just finished my 4th term as a city council person for the city of Stone Mountain. And I'm currently a candidate for the DeKalb County District 4 Commissioner. So that's kind of some of my background. I'm on both sides of government. I love the engineering side of things, and just being able to build communities and be a part of that.
Good evening. My name is Dorothy Crowley. I wish Teresa had read my bio. You know, they have you to give you this bio, and they have all these glorious things to say about you. And so to have me to speak about myself is not something that I do. So I was like, when they told me they flipped the script here, I was like, what? I gotta talk. But my name is Dorothy Crowley. I am a business owner. We've established several businesses, my husband and myself. Our goal is to build legacy and generational wealth. We got into construction because we wanted to build our dream home in the city of South Fulton with my family. You know, so we purchased some land, 12.2 acres over in the city of South Fulton, where we are going to build our family home. And other family members, my son, his family, and they would build their homes there. And because the property we got together and purchased, it's more than what we wanted, so we are extending it out to building additional homes so that others can enjoy the city of South Fulton as well. I'm a business owner of a charter school substitute teacher network where we established, where we provide staffing to charter schools, top-notch staffing. We have teachers to go in. As you know, the crisis right now is hard to find people to go into classrooms. But we've been successful in getting top-notch teachers to go in and step in when the lead teachers need to step out. We've also have a lawn and landscape business where my husband has been doing for over 30 years, working with different developers, doing the installs during those projects. And so that's pretty much, I just kind of got pulled into this.
Right.
And I'm loving it because it's exciting.
You're in
It's
the
an
right
exciting
place.
time. I'm in the right place.
Yes.
And I believe that because it's such a dynamic place to be and wonderful ladies that I'm meeting, so it's awesome.
You're in the right place because you're building in the city of South Fulton.
Okay.
All right.
All right, thank you.
Hi, I'm Claudette Freeman. I own my own general contracting business, and there's 3 of us. It's Monica, Claudette, and Carmen. And we do general contracting, architectural services, and we do construction management. So we'll design, build. So we've been in business now 5 years, and we're expanding. Can you hear me now? Okay, of course, again, Claudette Freeman. Name of my company is F&F General Construction. We're a design build, so if you can dream it, we can make it happen. So basically, my friend here forced me on this panel. She said it's rare to have a female general contractor, which I paid my dues. I've been project manager, construction manager, owner rep, been through it all. After 26 years, I said, enough, my turn. So now I'm doing it for myself in hopes that my kids would take over after me, but don't look like that's gonna happen. But anyway, again, my background is architectural engineering technology, and I've pretty much done all the positions under construction, and I love it.
The 3 of you that have gone already, do you have any of your team members here? Anybody on your team? Okay, all right.
Well, I have some team members here.
Okay, well, just acknowledge them and have them raise their hands.
Okay, well, I'd like for my son and my daughter-in-law to raise their hands. We're all in this project together.
Okay.
We're building a legacy that started with the family.
Thank you. My name is Erica Jean-Baptiste. I am co-founder and Erica Jean-Baptiste, co-founder and managing partner of Women Gone Global Partners. We are a construction services organization that are focused on women and teaching women all the areas of construction and career pathways. We have recently also been awarded the apprenticeship sponsor designation by Department of Labor that allows us to scale and build our minority contractors workforce. We can't build without a workforce. So that training is very important. So for Women Gone Global Partners, even though we may be involved in a construction project, my focus is really on all those minority companies that we need to create. And thank you for the women who have met in this audience today that own their own specialty trade contracting company. But the goal for me is to create an all-woman built project, because if they can see it, they can believe it. So that's why we have to be the light and the trailblazers. We cannot hide these because our youths are coming behind us. I've also started Green Energy Space International, which is an organization focused on green energy jobs, green energy for our communities, so especially with solar and creating solar farms and teaching others how to make those millions of dollars out there for it. So you'll learn more about all the other things that Erica is involved in pretty soon. Thank you.
Good evening. Thank you guys so much for coming. Thank you for the opportunity. I am here on behalf of Ms. Phyllis. She basically extended the invitation and now I'm here. I am Lori Martin. I am co-owner of Martin Real Estate Developers. We are a family-owned African-American business. So excited about that part. We build residential and commercial ground up. We also do rehabs on single-family homes, and we do build-outs on commercial buildings. We've been in business, guys, since 1994. You'll hear a little bit more about how I got kind of thrust in this whole thing here. What else do we do? Gosh, my biggest hat that I wear is I'm a grandmother. So that's my really big deal, and that's my drive. Gosh, as far as projects are concerned, if you guys were ever at the Turner Field at a Braves game, eating at one of the concession stands or purchasing something at the concession stands, well, we built those, I think we ended up building 6 or 8 of those concession stands. So that was one of our projects that we were extremely excited about. We're kind of the choo-choo train. We're that little small train that people thought, will it ever make it to the beginning? And we did, with dedication. Our family members are here, some of them are here. My team, I have my youngest son, Ryan's here, my husband's here, and I don't know if there she is in the back, my oldest son, general contractor, Miles Martin, my daughter-in-law, who is my daughter-in-law, and my grandbaby there. Gosh, the last thing I want to share, as far as what we do, our passion, guys, on the residential side, I've seen so many people, our Walmart greeters, our Waffle House workers. These are people that are working just like we all work, right? And they never thought they could own a home. So we do nothing but affordable housing. Absolutely. These are people that never thought they could own a home. Well, if all of us work, if you work, you can own a home. As Oprah Winfrey said so many years ago, when you own the land, you're at the table. So, gosh, look forward to answering the questions and hearing more about you all's questions as well.
Now, these beautiful women here are all in construction in some kind of way or fashion. I myself, I am in commercial real estate. And, commercial real estate was the good old boy mentality, But however, in the recent years, this has changed and more minority women are entering into the industry. So, what are some of the the big hurdles that you all kind of had to go through, jump loops, to develop your mindset, to be in a male's dominant industry. We're gonna start down here and come on around.
So on the engineering side, it is definitely very much male, mostly white male dominated industry. I think one of the biggest obstacles for me was to own my power, so to speak, and know that I had the education, I have the experience, I have the right to be at the table, to voice what I need to voice, and I can manage that project. So I think I mentioned in my introduction that I've been on my city council for 4 terms, and there were times in there I can be elected to lead a city, but those above me didn't think I could be a project manager or, you know, manage a team of individuals, and I had to realize I needed to keep moving in to find my space in the engineering world that would respect me and what I bring to the table.
Yeah. Awesome.
Thank you, that's a great question. Getting into construction, it's kind of like we just kind of fell into it. My family and I were looking for our forever home, and we found the property to build the forever home on in the city of South Fulton, and the owner of the property didn't want to. They had 12.2 acres, and they didn't want to split that property up and sell us some acreage. So my family and I got together, pooled resources, and we purchased the total land. And the goal behind that was to build our forever homes and build family legacy and build wealth for our family. And as a result of it, you know, I kind of got into this industry by way of DIY projects. You know, watching the DIYs on the TV, the home renovation programs, you know, they're on all the time. You know, you gotta flip the house, or, you know, love it or list it or love it. So we started, just my niece and I, just doing different projects. You know, we would do a project in her home, redoing the bathroom or something. And I love hands-on. And having that hands-on, building something, coming from a family of, I have 8 brothers. And I'm the oldest girl out of the 8 brothers, so I had 6 brothers before me. So, you know, the tomboy doing things was kind of in my blood. You know, I just, you know, you hear some women say, I love a power tool. I love tools. You know, they laugh at me in the family because, you know, my brother was like, how do you do all this and don't break a nail? I don't know. I don't know, but I think it's from hanging out with them. But we use that opportunity from what we've learned just from projects that we've taken on to venture out. So as a result of just kind of tinkering around with things at home, we renovated my mom's home. We renovated my own home, you know, kitchen, we did the baths and different things. And in that, we just kind of got that feeling of, we can do it. You know, we can do it, and women can do it. And my niece and I just we played around with that so many times until, you know, we've had a lot of trial and errors, but we did it. And as a result, when we purchased the property, we had so many ideas of what we wanted to do. And as a result, that we don't know how to do, we know that there are people who do know how to do it. And this is a beautiful opportunity because we get to network with people who know how to do the things that we don't know how to do to accomplish what we're out to do. And so that's how I got into it. It was just loving power tools and DIY. So I know a lot of times, you know, you get into it because you're trying to break barriers, or, you know, those stereotypes that women can't do it. But I come from a family where, you know, you were always expected to do your best at whatever you did, and that women can do anything. And my brothers didn't spare me, so it was like I had to do it. And so I love it. I love the opportunity to be a part of this network, this powerful network of women in construction. You know, I'm a novice in it, but I'm learning so much, and I'm so excited about it. I'm excited about the projects that we're involved in,
and what's going to become of them. So thank you for taking time to listen to me.
Well, it's real easy for me. My background was architectural engineering technology, and I was working doing a PetSmart and doing different buildings that was cookie cutters. And one day, my boss said, "Do you want to see that building that you did the design for?" I said, "Sure." Went in the field, and I loved it. I like seeing everybody, you know, doing what they're supposed to do, everybody working together, everybody talking, everybody fellowshipping and stuff, instead of me sitting in the office in front of a computer, doing the same thing over and over again. So after that week, I was like, I'm going to the field. So I dusted off my resume, put it out, and I think I did about 12 interviews till I was talking to this gentleman. He was like, "I want to hire you, but you don't have experience." I said, "Don't worry about that. Don't worry about it. Because whatever I don't know right now, I know about tomorrow when I come back." And he was like, "Okay, I'm gonna give you the opportunity." And he did. And so I became the lead person over the whole department. I had, at first it was 3 of us in the whole department, and we had 10 superintendents. I looked up, all 10 were working for me. and the other 2 was like, "What happened? Be a woman on your word. When I tell them I'm gonna do something, I did it." And because of that, they followed me wherever I wanted to go, whatever I asked them to do. It wasn't a problem, and we got all kind of bonuses. So I was like, cool, this is what I want to do when I grow up. And so it just, it was one of those things that I figured out my joy. You know, if you love what you do, you're not working. And it just worked for me. And I just kept moving with it. Now, I ain't gonna say it was easy, because I had plenty of them just like, "She don't know what she's doing. I'm like, okay, that's cool. That's cool. I just stayed true to myself, and I just kept doing what I needed to do, and didn't worry about all the naysay. I didn't worry about what anybody thought of me. I knew what I was doing, and that was enough. And then my family, my daughter over there, they was always my biggest cheerleader, because to me it was like, as long as I can provide for my family and I'm enjoying what I'm doing, I can't worry about what anybody else say or do. So I love what I do. Get too close to the other.
There you go. See why I had to have her come here today? This is inspiring, because for the young ladies who don't even think this is possible, this is just a code of confidence that we need to be able to transfer over to the other women. So, as far as obstacles we've had and how I got into the industry, okay, so I'm from the island of Trinidad and Tobago. So in the islands, very self-sufficient. A lot of entrepreneurs, probably half of the country are entrepreneurs. So I grew up around family who were always building our homes, building our families' homes. And as children and as obedient children, you do what you say, take the bricks, move them over there, lift the water, paint. So I loved painting as a child, and back in the islands, we kind of painted every year, the whole house, inside and out. Railings and everything. But one epic moment as a child I remember is the African professor that lived next door to us was driving home, and he stopped, just pulled his brakes, turned, and he says, "You're painting?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he says, "Women don't paint." I says, "Well, I go tell my dad that, because they tell me I have to not do it, but I enjoy it." He says, "Can I take a picture?" I said, "Sure." Well, he wanted to do that because in his culture, it is not even allowed. So for me, even though at the time I didn't think anything of it, it was years later when I thought back about all the reasons why I need to do it, but let others know that you can do it, kind of pushed me forward also. But out here in the United States, that was my entry into the construction industry. I basically started painting. I went for a job as an accountant because that was my background, but I was working for a contractor. One day I went out on the field and they were painting. I can do that. So that's how I got started, because I stayed on the job site that day and I painted. And I got back to the office and I told them, you know, I want to be on the field, and that was what I wanted to do. It wasn't taken the right way. That's a long story by itself, but I ended up leading the project, that particular project that I went to, and then the next one. And then after a while, I decided their check looked a lot better than mine's. And I can do a whole lot better if I actually started doing that instead. So that's how I actually got started, because I ended up being a subcontractor to him, and then I hired my own crews. And that's how I got started. So one of the obstacles, I didn't face obstacles in the field. Yeah, there was the doubt, you know, what you doing? You know, there were a lot of scenes where the guys would doubt, because I was the only female on the project side. So a lot of times people come to the site and, you know, they're probably looking for somebody to clean up or something, but then, like you said, you do the work and the work speaks for yourself. So that's why I was allowed to be a subcontractor to that same contractor that I worked for, and then took on my own crews. But then I wanted to like really understand this industry and get an education, get some type of certification. And that's where I found there wasn't any training for me. There was nothing available for me to train in the skilled trades as a woman. That was very disappointing. So I ended up leaving the field and started working with a general contractor, a specialty flooring contractor. And during that time, I continued to seek out opportunities to learn. I enjoyed it. The guys taught me more than just painting. I did drywall, I did flooring, I did a little bit of electrical. And this is what I found enjoyable. I really wanted to do this. There was a gentleman who says, I understand construction is not something that you probably thought of doing, but they are creating a program at Gwinnett Technical College. It is put together by 9 of the largest GCs in Georgia. And they're doing this because a lot of the construction training programs were engineering, they were civil engineering, they were, you know, on the management side, construction management. But as far as learning the skilled trades and how to manage a project, they would have these students come to them and then they'll have to train them. So they decided to create this program. And the professor, basically, when I walked in, he says, well, you're going to get the best of both worlds, because the people who are coming to this program are currently managing a lot of large projects, and they have team members that they now need to train. So we're training them on the other side. So I got the best of both worlds. On my job, I was going to the plan room, opening up a set of plans, and wanted to learn more. So I did a plan reading class. Got my, all the classes I could possibly do, residential code certification, all the OSHA certification. Professor Cullum makes sure we have everything we need to be successful. And what I realized is that's one obstacle I had to overcome that I didn't want somebody else to overcome. So I became involved in NAWIC, National Association of Women in Construction. Been involved for about 15 years. I actually was president of that chapter 2017 through 18, and then through 18 through 19. And during that presidency, my whole goal was to remove barriers and to bring more awareness. And I've been on that pathway since, and it's one of the reasons why I left after 22 years of managing other people's and creating Women Gone Global Partners. And I heard Artie read the statistics of that. 1% of the industry that are women in the skilled trades, it's less than 0.04% for women of color in the skilled trades. And so that's my focus. Because if you look today, you will notice the weight in our community, our self-supportive, the lack of self-support comes from single family households run by women. that's the structure that we're trying to build a foundation for our future. We can't build on a broken foundation. So those are the barriers that we need to overcome. Those are the things we need to put in place. So for us, that's the pathway I chose. So there's a lot that we have that we are rolling out into. I love the fact that you build affordable homes, because that's another barrier in the construction industry, whether you're buying it, trying to build it. But I believe in ownership. If you own it, you control it. Whether it's your home or your community. You don't like what the stores are coming into your community, you don't like the businesses that are coming into your community, own the land and you put what you want on there. But you don't have a choice if you don't own the land. My purpose is to tie a workforce program to all economic development projects so that the money stays in our community. We want to overcome obstacles. That's where we start.
She just said everything I wanted to say. So awesome to be up here with these ladies, guys. I mean, anyway, I hope you guys are taking it all in, because women rock, let me tell you. As far as, so I kind of got thrust in this whole thing with construction. Phyllis, I thought I was saying something wrong. Kind of got thrust in it. So, you always hear your parents say, if you show up, show up, show up, show up. We should show up the way, show up in the clothing that you want to be, not where you are right now. So when we were doing, my husband had, so just kind of background, I never thought I'd be in construction, to be totally honest with you. My husband had been over 15 years of construction, doing construction, his dad as well as my father-in-law, so he was kind of embedded in it. But he showed up every day working as a regular worker, and then the contractors that he was working for gave him an opportunity as a subcontractor. And next thing you know, guys, in 1994, we were opening up a construction company. I knew exactly nothing what I was doing. My husband knew enough to get it going, right? So that was the biggest thing. What I did notice, though, we started bidding projects, guys, for some of the largest construction companies here in Atlanta. Beers Construction, Moody Construction, Turner Construction. So we were bidding these projects. Of course, we weren't getting any, but we were already told to keep bidding, keep bidding, keep bidding, and that's what we did. So as I would go down to these offices and pick up their plans, this is old school, I'm dating myself now. We didn't get on the computer and print anything out. I would go down to Beers and go down to Turner to pick up plans. I noticed, guys, in these rooms and these tables that I was sitting at, that I had an opportunity to sit at, it wasn't a privilege. It was truly a blessing. I didn't see anybody that looked like me. So that's my inspiration. As far as obstacles, guys, once we got started, and I'm down there at Beers and Moody and all these places trying to get jobs, bid on projects, they were like, well, don't forget, bring your bonding insurance with you. I was like, oh yeah, I can pick up some insurance from Allstate. Well, they didn't need Allstate's insurance, okay? They were like, well, no, bonding, just $3 million in assets.
In order to get in the room, you
Absolutely, to even be in the room. That's when we found out the real meaning of joint venture. You don't give up and don't quit and quit because you don't have what they need, right? You get the information of what they need and you go out and you find somebody to help you out. So that's pretty much how we got started. Now I'm inspired to make sure that, again, the people that look just like me are in the room and at those tables. That's it.
Well, great. Being in the commercial world is something that, as a minority woman, it's hard to get into, but once you get into it, you earn the respect of our counterparts. There are changes that we go through, being overlooked for opportunities as commercial brokers, but I stand fast, you know, and I continue to learn my craft, become knowledgeable about my skill set, what I need to do, what I need to learn. So we all have things in common, even though we're in a different arena. What I failed to do, though, I have my team member here. My daughter Ashley is on my team. And I must also ask everybody here, from Keller Williams, to just stand for 1 minute. Everybody from Keller Williams. Woo! That's what I'm talking about. I thank you all for your support. All righty. Moving along, the next question is, the future of Atlanta Metro is said to be on this side of I-20, okay? South, coming this way, okay? What do you feel are some of the advantage and the disadvantage of doing business, development and construction on the south side? So let's kind of start with you, Lori.
Oh gosh, I can't wait to answer that. I'm like, guys, living on the south side, we live in South Fulton, 23 years in South Fulton. The possibilities over on our side are endless, right? And they are because there's so much undeveloped land, right? I love big, pretty houses, but when I see land, it's like, ooh, give me some, right? Endless possibilities of South Fulton. That's the advantage. Guys, the disadvantage, and the word disadvantage is, we have to answer it because we're up here now, but where there's a will, there's a way. The disadvantage, rehabbing properties in South Fulton and City of Atlanta, we run into a lot of permitting, the process of permitting, right? So you've got the folks that have been there 27, 28 years, they're not trying to hear. You come in there, they're looking at you like, and what do you want? But you have to be nice, right? Because you get more with honey than you do, you get more bees with honey. So the permit processing department is going to be the disadvantage. And the reason why I say that, guys, is since we've been even doing commercial building since 1994, when you go down to the permit departments, guys, it's some of those same people. And when they retire, they bring their daughter on, and their daughter brings, right? So what happens is we're not growing, right? So that permit processing department is probably going to be our downfall or our disadvantage with growing from the south, from I-20, south of I-20. Now, our cities that have broken off into, everybody's the big cities are breaking off into the small cities. When they do that, I think it's an amazing opportunity, right? But they've got to fill that area. They've got to have literally a department for just that. And then they have to train the people, right? So the advantage is going to be endless. The disadvantage will be they have got to support that area. They've got to have just a full department of just that. Like that, they shouldn't be answering the phone. They shouldn't be doing any of that. They should be processing you guys' applications for permits. So that would be the disadvantage.
Disadvantage on the south side coming this way here, coming I-20. This side of I-20.
This side of I-20.
Yes.
The disadvantage.
The south side of
The south side of I-20 disadvantage. And advantage.
Yes.
Definitely, the opportunity, economics. I mean, purchasing on the south side, the cost of lands and everything is so much cheaper. Well, I won't say cheaper, but it's a better price on the south side than other parts of the city. And so being able to purchase land and homes in the south side of the city is more economic and advantageous because it's available to you and it's at a better cost. The disadvantages that we've experienced is the infrastructure. The infrastructure on the south side, and especially the older communities or older parts of the city. It takes a lot when you come in as a developer because you have to come in and pretty much redo a lot of it, or there's a lot of different requirements for you coming in. So that's been one of the disadvantages, is that you have to go in and pretty much go in with new infrastructure and everything, and the cost is cost of, attached to that can be a lot, and so it can be discouraging sometimes for developers and especially new developers, depending on what you're getting into. But as far as the affordability in the city of South Fulton, affordability is definitely an advantage of being in the south side of Atlanta.
Thank you.
The advantage is that you're able to get. I think I'm loud enough, but okay. The advantage of it is that you're able to get information about what's going on, because in this age, you just log on and everything shows, like Bid Network or different places, once you get into their vendor network. So you're learning about the different projects that's coming in and being able to go after it. But the disadvantage is, like she was saying, the bonding capacity, the insurance capacity. I'm there now, but when I first started out, I was nowhere near it. So it took me a while to build up to it. So sometimes that can be a little discouraging, but I was like, that's all right. Next year I got you. But also the disadvantage to me has been that you see a piece of land and you're ready to go forward and you're trying to get information on that land and find out what is zoned, and then you need to rezone it so it can meet the criteria so you can make the money that you're looking forward to making, and it takes forever. By that time you out of money or you're like, do I really want to mess with this? So it's just one of those things that you got to be able to think long and hard, long game, and say, okay, I'll get the property now and I'll work some other stuff and then I'll come back and do this later. But it can be a little testy trying to figure out all that zoning, all that infrastructure like you're saying, and also being able to make sure that you're going to make the money that you need to make. Because if you're not making it, why do it?
Right.
So I wanted to kind of comment on the permitting aspect of it. So as the city engineer here at City of South Fulton, my job all day long, a big part of my job all day long, is to review plans and make comments and get it out the door, and so that you guys can start construction. And then I have a team of gentlemen, my land development inspectors, who are out in the field harassing your contractors to make sure you're doing things right. So at the City of South Fulton, we are so new that we don't have that hangover. Nobody in our team has been there for 20 years. I think that part of our problem is that we haven't been there that long. We are at a good place right now where we have a good team built up, but for a long time I was the only engineer reviewing plans. We had a lot of turnover, so it's a matter of also getting educated people in to understand these side of things, so that we can have that workforce on the permitting side to make sure that we can get the permits approved and reviewed in a timely manner, because the sheer magnitude of development going on in the city of South Fulton, which is roughly 100 square miles, is just astronomical. So I had a pre-construction meeting yesterday for a new subdivision, Bishop Meadows off of Bishop Road. It's 64 units. There's another subdivision that just clear cut 114 acres of land that's going in. We have anywhere from, on some level of construction, I probably have 20 to 30 residential developments going. That's not including my infill residential. That's not including the commercial. So I think another disadvantage in developing in the south of I-20 is an identity. So right now, the codes allow for whatever the codes allow for, but I think planning exercises, and that's part of what my department works on as well, is what is the identity? What does the community really want in these areas? And that's why, the rezonings can be contentious. She went through a bad one. So it's just a matter of also, now that we are a city, making sure that we have that identity and that we're putting out there what we want so we can attract the developers and the contractors to do the projects that the community wants to see.
Awesome, awesome. I think it's important too. We need to have a seat at the table. And as Teresa called off, I'm on a lot of boards. But these are boards that are in my community. So I demand a seat at the table because of what could come and what we may not want. So, you know, I give a lot of time sitting on these boards and working in the community, but I have a passion for it. And as I continue to build my business as a commercial brokerage, a broker, it allows me to see what's coming and, you know, have a word at the table. Hey, do we want to do this? Sitting on these different boards, yeah, it's a lot of time consuming, but it's well worth it. Something I forgot to do, I got my son sitting over there. Wave your hand, son. All right, I think we're at our last question. And at this time, I would like to see if there's anyone in the audience that have any questions. We have a mic here for you. You get a quick question, quick answers. All right?
Why is she pointing at me? I'm asking for a friend.
This is from Ms. Johnson. The community that's going up where you go into the O'Reilly's, that street right there, I don't know the name of it. But right there off Old National O'Reilly's, where they putting in another Jerome Road.
Sherwood Manor.
There's a large community there. Are those going to be homes for sale? Because now we're hearing that companies are buying and building communities like that, and they're rental homes, which is extremely bad, I feel. So are they going to be homes for sale? You know, the name is nothing up there to tell the community anything.
So yes, that development is Sherwood Manor off of Jerome Road. Currently in the city of South Fulton, the code does not allow for those type of developments where they are built to be rental properties. The city actually is resolving a lawsuit over one of those situations, so the code still does not allow for that. And we have to we actually have a note we have to add on the plats that states that the developer cannot intend to just rent the properties. So all of our developments, unless they're a townhome or apartment community, would be for sale and not for rent.
One last question.
Yes, sir.
Do you work with the council when it comes to ordinances or changing the ordinance or setting the ordinance? Because right there where the police precinct used to be, a guy opened up another wash house. And no matter how he said it's supposed to be upscale, okay. So is that?
So it may not be me directly, but my department does work with the city council when we needed to do new ordinance changes.
Hello, Grand Rising ladies, how y'all doing? Hello. My name's Her Excellency Shantae Lene Herford. I represent the Center for Truth and Healing. But mine is not a question, it's just a statement, and I didn't want to miss the opportunity to say this because we have so many people here. And I'm an advocate for crowdfunding. And I know you had the project that you all did in South Fulton, I believe it is, with crowdfunding. And a lot of women and men may miss out on the opportunity to become construction developers because they think they may not have the funds to enter the market. And I just want to put this out there as an option, that crowdfunding is definitely an alternative for financing to help you enter the construction market so that you can develop real estate, so that you can buy real estate, and you can do this in a rewards fashion where the community can be rewarded, or you can do it in an equity fashion so that the community can participate in the profits. So as we continue to build and develop our communities, the people in the communities can also profit and prosper along with these projects. So thank y'all.
All right, thank you. Our next question.
Hello, ladies.
Hello.
I want to applaud all of you. I'm so proud of what you guys are
Thank
doing.
you.
I got a ton of questions. I'm only going to ask one. As a consumer, I have rental property in Georgia and out of state. But I get so uncomfortable looking for a company because I don't want to get taken advantage of. What are the red flags that I should be looking for when hiring a contractor?
It's hard to answer that because most people say if they ask for money up front, but in this industry, mobilization and materials we have to ask for because of the fluctuation of what's going on. So it really comes down to if you have a gut feeling that they're taking advantage or they're talking too fast or they're not listening to you and trying to understand what it is that you want, they're rushing you and say, oh, come on, I got this. To me, that's a red flag. That's how I look at it as a red flag. Because I feel like if you're really there for that person, that client, you're gonna be oriented to see what they're asking for, you're gonna ask the questions, you're gonna be thorough about it, and you're gonna be right on in like, okay, this is my contract, this is what you're gonna expect from me, this is what you're gonna get, and this is our milestones while we're going through it.
Thank you so much.
Awesome. That's a great question. Licensing. Let me tell you, if they haven't put the work in, she'll tell you that general contractor license is no joke. My son just went through it a couple of years ago. Licensing, ask them for their license. Like we don't go to the doctor, right? And insurance, right? You know, I talked about the insurance that we didn't have. We had to phone a friend. Those are huge. And when if they get defensive about it, that oh I have it, you know I can't. Then that's another red flag. You just put a nice smile on your face and you go on to the next one. But when we go to the doctor, right? We see their credentials up there. I don't know why we continue to treat other things like they're not. So licensing is huge. Ask them for it if they don't have it. Insurance. You might want to move on to the next one.
Thank you so much.
References also.
Hello, ladies. My name is Van Anderson. I'm the owner of Cascade Fence and Construction for 24 years. I'm so happy to see y'all here. I've literally been behind the scene for 24 years, so I'm coming at the scene. A lot of people know me like Miss Mentor, but I'm in the process of building a shopping plaza, and we want green, so I need to talk to you ladies. My daughter is a professional chef, and I'm building her a restaurant, but we want solar, we want green. She farm to table. So, and I would love an all-women team. Because it's me and my daughter. Purchased and paid for. So we meet with Mr. Artie on the 20th. Awesome. And this is just amazing, so y'all see me everywhere.
And she also put my fence around my house. She's with Cascade Fence Company as well.
Yes.
All right. I'm going to ask the rest of you that are standing in line, I need for you to have an idea of who you would like to direct your question to. Because we could be here all night and everyone answer your question. So have an idea of who you want to direct your question to, please. Thank you.
Hello. Hi, my name is Nira, and my question is, well, I have a desire to work in architecture, but that's not my field of expertise. I do have a degree, but that's not what it was in. But I work in the real estate industry now. So my question I want to say, I'm directed to you. Do you have any advice for breaking into the architecture industry as a young person that doesn't have that as a background?
So do you have a degree in it or what?
My degree is in culinary art food service management.
Okay, so you want to switch over. So normally what I would say is, go to we find a lot of our architectural designers, because we have an in-house architectural and interior design, and we go to like the different colleges and do different where they have the college drive, where, you know, job drive, job fair. And I would say just go to that and then put your do like I did. Put your resume out there, say, this is what I'm looking to do, this is what I'm trying to get to, and these are where, you know, I'm looking to work in. And just keep asking, because someone will give you a chance, but at the same time, you're gonna have to at least have CAD and know how to read your drawings. That's gonna be real, real key, because if you don't understand those two aspects, it's not gonna help you.
Okay, so you're saying look for a job in it, not necessarily go back to school for it, right?
You're gonna have to go back to school, at least get CAD.
Okay.
Get CAD and learning to read plans. And then you can do what a lot of people do is learn to work in and work their way up. But if you plan on being registered, you're gonna have to go back to school.
Yes, ma'am.
But at least it'll give you an idea if this is really what you wanna do by starting in those two places.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, who would you like to direct your question to?
Hi ladies, my name is Benae Williams, and I just wanted to say it is a pleasure to meet all of you.
Can you speak up to the, there you go. Thank you.
I just want to say it was a pleasure to meet and see all of you because, and your name popped and slipped back.
Lori?
Lord, you were talking about when you get a seat at the table. So when you're at that table, what are the proper questions to ask?
Sure, so usually,
When you're at the table, and thank you so much for that question, that's a great question. When you're at the table, a lot of times we want to show up and we want to speak up immediately. Sometimes we have to just be quiet, right? Take it all in, use both of these, right, other than this. And then, because while they're at the table, they're talking and they're introducing themselves like we did, their titles and all that. So you sit still, sit quiet for the first couple of times, right? And you make sure you get those contacts as soon as that meeting is over. Because you're not there, you're there for a purpose, but it happened for a reason. Everything that happens is for a reason, right? So be quiet, sit still, take it all in, introduce yourself to people, right? Get their cards, and then next thing you know, you're invited to the very next event, and then that's when you know what questions you need. You need to
follow up.
And follow up.
Follow up.
It's in the follow-up.
Yes.
Right? And then make sure you let them know, hey, I met you at such and such an event or whatever, or table discussion, but you gotta follow up. It's in the follow-up. And then once they see, as soon as you reach out to people, again, after you met them for the first time, they're willing to help you out. So as far as the questions are concerned that you're asking about, maybe not ask questions first, just sit there at that first opportunity or second opportunity, and then get the names and people that you can reach out to, and then start asking some questions.
Well, let me be specific.
Okay.
Your question is, we want to start incorporating developers.
Okay.
Where do you start from there?
You all want to start incorporating?
I think what I would like to see us do, are you going to be in a hurry to leave?
Oh, good.
How about you?
Let's talk.
I think that, you know, there will be some time for you all to kind of network, ask some questions, spend some one-on-one, because we still have a couple people behind you, and we're just going to take a couple more questions so we can keep it going. Thank you so much.
Hi, good evening, ladies.
Good evening.
And this is a generic question, so anyone can answer it, because you're all professionals, you all are business leaders. What do you find the biggest challenge to be in kind of balancing work and life all at once? How do you find time to get that you time in?
A couple people would love to hear me answer this question because that has been my #1 challenge. So when you are passionate about what you do, the clock doesn't stop.
Yeah.
Your body might stop, but your mind keep going. And women are creatively built to, we're just our minds, we create stuff. So even in our sleep, we're doing it. So it's very difficult with that balance and when to turn it off. So what I learned out of being at the end of injury. It had to be where I broke, of trying to do the 60-hour work week, working on weekends, taking on projects, got the hands-on, going on the house and at the friend's house. But I loved it. But it does take toll on your body and your mind. And so I learned how to create that balance out of my own injury. So taking time for yourself is key. Find that moment. Still find something you enjoy doing. Just takes less stress, physically and mentally. For me, it was hiking and getting out in the open air. So I started hiking up Stone Mountain like 2-3 times a week. But what I did find is when I come down, my work was more manageable because I was approaching it from a much more restful place and my thought patterns were a lot more feasible. So find that moment.
And peace of mind.
And peace of mind.
Yeah. Yes.
And I would like to add also is purpose. You have to be purposeful in taking that time for you. You know, if you don't purposely do it, you can get consumed with, as they said, the thoughts and all those things that are happening. But it's so important for us as women, as Eric was saying, you know, we can multitask. We're built like that to be able to do a lot of things. But you also have to be purposeful with your own health and your own life. You know, because you can get overwhelmed and overdriven to the point where you get burned out and you're no good to your family or the project. So you have to have purpose, purposely taking time to make time for you.
All right. Sir, who would you like to direct your question to?
It's not a question for anyone, particularly more of an introduction. First off, excuse my appearance, I came straight from the job site. Okay? I own and operate a family-owned cleaning company. We specialize in subdivisions. We initially got in, the builder said we can give you one subdivision. They had five single-story houses. Well, 7 subdivisions later, and we're still in 6 currently right now. We specialize in post-construction cleanup, rough cleaning, final cleaning prior to the new owners moving in. Additional services we provide is pressure washing, carpet cleaning, so on and so forth. And I would love to.
Do you have your cards with you?
Let me see.
You just make sure you pass them out. All right? Thank you. I appreciate it. All right, ma'am. Who would you like to direct your question to?
Miss Erica, first of all, I want to thank her for inviting me. This has been awesome listening to your ladies. My name is Kendra Calhoun, and I am the procurement pre-construction director for a company called Clayco. So Clayco is a huge engineering, construction, and architecture company. They have given me the task to bring on 1,000 people by the end of the year. 500
jobs. You got your card.
Right.
Jobs,
500 by within the first 6 months. So my question is, how do I get in front of, like, I know Erica is working with me, so she'll probably be able to help. But I want to make sure that I'm giving our people, and I'll be honestly, because it's minority driven, the opportunities, as well as they're going to also build a training facility, a trade facility here. So I need to make sure I'm connecting with the right people in the right groups.
I'm going to ask you to make sure that the Economic Development Office have your information so that they can share the opportunities that you have available. That's a good place to start. And this evening, do you have your cards?
Yes.
All right. Let's pass them out. Let's network.
And
okay.
Ms. Erica,
thank you so much. And Kendra had actually gone on to Tuesday Talks with the American Black Chamber of Commerce and made this announcement. And right after she did, I think Ms. Shanta Hereward says, you need to call her right away. So when I called her and I explained to her what my goal was, basically tying a workforce development training program to all economic development in our communities, where we train our individuals that live there, create businesses that doesn't exist in our community, but especially for minority contractors, whether they are a fencing company, drywall company, flooring company, you cannot go into an environment like a $3 million bond and expect to acquire those projects. One, it requires a workforce that most of our specialty contractors do not have. The IRA dollars have 52 billion, I didn't say million, billions of dollars for construction for minority companies, women-owned. We can't even get the money because we can't even show up qualified in the first place with the bond or the workforce. So when I learned what Kendra's task was, I said, this requires a collaborative effort. No one company or organization can do this and meet that agenda. But this is the perfect opportunity for us to come together and create exactly what is needed. We must develop our own businesses. We must own those lands so what they're doing can be done to benefit us. So as far as what we're going to be doing is holding a lot of informational workshops about how you can get involved at every level. Whether you want to be an architect and you know nothing about architecture, the goal is apprenticeship. That is the word we need to remember going forward. Every area of the construction industry needs to bring apprentices in. They could be from high school, college, they could even be coming in from the civil, military, foster care. We know what the pain points are in our community. This is an opportunity for us to heal ourselves.
Yes, yes.
So I'm asking you to think carefully about transitional skills. You might have been a project manager at a restaurant. You have earned project management skill that can be transferred into managing a project.
All right.
Don't think because you don't know you can't do. This is exactly why I went into the training area. It's because a lot of times you don't really know about the opportunities. And even if you learn about it, usually you think, well, that's not for me.
Right.
And at the same time, we got $52 billion sitting over here waiting for you. That includes training. That includes apprenticeship.
Yes.
Being now given that apprenticeship sponsor designation, I want to create those opportunities for our specialty. Because if you own the next plumbing company, supply company, then you get to hire us. I get to train your workers for you and build. So when you, in 2025, that project comes, now you can show up, being able to bond the $3 million. And you have a workforce of 25, 30 plus to take the project on. You've worked with mentors and business developers that now you are now qualified. So if we have to show up, we have to be prepared to do the work. Unlike when I was trying to get into the industry and couldn't find a training program, now there's so much AI and the internet, there's nothing you can't find out about. So we are going to utilize a lot of AI technology into the training, and we have to do it. I can't do it alone. Kendra can't do it alone. So please make sure before you leave, either you get Kendra's information or my information, but we will be holding these sessions throughout Georgia. Clayco wants to have a footprint in Georgia benefiting our minority communities.
Yeah. And I think on the end here, we're going to thank you all for agreeing to be here today. You are